Okay. Get settled, situated, and I'll start the call.
Okay.
All right. Is everybody ready?
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Hi, guys.
Hey, Lynn, I can only see the top of your head. I can only see
I'm
your bangs.
sorry. I'm madly I'm working on Elements.
Gotcha.
It's a great project.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. Tonight is not going to be terribly long because I wanted to start the year off with kind of like a call/assignment for everybody to get us back on track. So I'm going to go over kind of the information I have, give a couple tips that I got from some big leaders at Super Saturday that kind of go along with it, and then I'll let you go so you can do your homework. But the thing that I want everybody to try to do to start this year is I want you all to make a monthly or weekly if you want, but monthly would be really good. I'm going to show you what mine looks like for the month, but a monthly like post schedule for your social media, because I know that everybody has said, well, what am I supposed to post? We've had this conversation before about what am I supposed to post? What can I do? So what you can do for yourself, and this has really helped me get back on track because I was starting to run out of ideas. But if you actually write it down on paper or put it in your planner to, what you're going to do every single month, and then you can write it down. So for example, I'm going to kind of read off what I do. So every Monday, I am going to do a fitness tip, and you guys can find this stuff like anywhere. Like I Googled like 100 top fitness tips, and then I just saved that link into a Word document, and I can go there and just reference it and get ones that I like, that I want to add on to, that I want to, modify however I want for my post. But there's like 5 or 6 links there, and it took me 5 minutes for that. So like Mondays, I'm always going to have a little fitness tip. Tuesdays is going to be a nutrition tip. Wednesdays is going to be a recipe, and I'll kind of tell you a little bit more about like Wednesdays in a minute. Thursdays is going to be like possibly a picture of like a food or meal prepping or workout footage, kind of a personal touch on my page, what I'm doing. Fridays, I really don't get a lot of engagement. I've kind of looked on my page with my analytics, and you can look on yours too. But Friday, I'm going to do a quote because I know it's motivational for people to see a quote, but I don't get a lot of engagement, so it's kind of an easier one for me to do on Fridays. Saturdays is another kind of personal touch with possibly motivational tips, what I do for grocery shopping, things like that. And then Sundays, I'm going to do a workout for the week where I either like post a workout or like I do a workout. So that's kind of what I mean by getting yourself scheduled for the month. The thing that I wanted to talk to you about is within this month, I suggest that you, and Amber and I have talked about this, I suggest that you start advertising your free groups and start doing that every month. I think for me personally, I'm going to advertise 2 a month as of right now. I'll see how it goes if I want to start doing more than that. I know, Amber, I think you're doing more than that, right? Yeah, okay. So Amber's doing more than that. 3. Okay, so Amber's doing 3. So whatever works for you. But what I recommend you do, and I want to talk about this after I went through that, what I recommend you do is on your like pages, if you go to I think it's Insights, wherever you can access like your analytics and see, what's going on behind the scenes. I don't have my computer in front of me where I look at it. But you go in there and you look at your analytics or your insights or whatever it's called, and you can see when people are coming to your page the most, or when people are looking at your post the most, liking your post. So that's a good gauge for you when to post your challenge group stuff, because it's going to get seen the most. So I'm doing on Wednesdays and Saturdays, or when I'm going to start advertising my free group. I think I'm going to do 1 free group a month, and one like challenge, like a Beachbody challenge group a month. I may do more, but for now I'm going to start with that. And if you're more comfortable just doing one a month to get started, just do one a month. But I really think that you should start just being consistent with it. And don't feel like you failed if you only got 1 or 2 people in your group. Amber and I are teaming up and doing one now that, we have just a few people in it, but it's okay. Some months will be slower than others, and you're just starting. So really don't get discouraged. Just keep doing it. It's the consistency of you doing it that's going to make you successful. Piggybacking on this post schedule, and the reason that I'm suggesting that you do the post schedule is to start getting you leads. Because what I've actually found, and I've been listening to people talk and what they're doing in their business is kind of over the break just to get myself re-energized and refreshed, is a lot of the people we've talked about how to get exposures, like saying happy birthday to people that have birthdays. But if you're posting every day, you can start looking to see who's engaging with you on the post, and they're going to be really good people to talk to. So if you have somebody that likes your post, you can message them and say, hey, thanks for liking my post. I really appreciate it. How was your Christmas? So they're already engaging with your content, or they've already maybe not commented, but they've liked it, they've seen it, they didn't have to click the like button. So there's going to start being ways for you to reach out to figure out who to reach out to start forming them and building those relationships. Another good reason to post, try to post daily and try to keep it consistent, is you're going to start, if you're consistent and Facebook sees that you're consistent, and then you're messaging these people that are commenting on your post, your feed is going to start showing up more regularly in other people's posts because you're private messaging them. So Facebook's like, oh, well, they're hanging out with their friends. They'll probably want to see that person's feed. So let's just, put their feed up on their page. So that's really going to help you. And if you aren't posting regularly and, they see your page, you're like, whatever, scroll down. So it's all kind of one big, like a wheel, one big thing that the spokes to like leading to your your sale or your groups or whatever. These posts lead to people that are liking your page or commenting, or liking your post or commenting, and that can lead into conversations, which can lead into them seeing you more on your feed, which leads into them seeing the stuff that you really want people to see, is like those challenge groups and whatever, like if you have like your workout footage and message me for, sometimes I'll just say message me if you want your free meal plan or something on like a workout tip or whatever, but you're still getting those contacts and those leads on those posts. So that's what I think is really going to help you be consistent, because if you don't have the consistency, honestly, if you don't have the consistency, and I've seen this, just because I kind of took some time off at Christmas. I think we all did, but I specifically did. And I mean, immediately, like I took some time off of posting and everything. In just those couple weeks, I mean, I could see it instantly in my business because I wasn't as consistent as I had been. So I'm trying to think of ways to help the whole team be successful. I know things that work for me may not work for you, but I've seen a lot of people, a lot of coaches I've talked to have been doing this in their own way. Like I said, you don't have to have the same posts that I have, like fitness tip, nutrition tip, but I highly suggest that we do some homework after the call during this week and get your monthly stuff scheduled out. And then you have it forever and ever and ever. You have it. And then you know what you're going to schedule. So it won't be like you have to like rack your brain. So that is kind of where I wanted to lead into for the new year and how to start your business on the right foot. I also want to give a couple tips. We had some top coaches at my Super Saturday. I'm actually part of the Atlanta Council, so I get some backstage privy to some of them and get to talk to them personally, and they, talk at our at the Super Saturday and stuff. But I wanted to talk about some of the approaches that they suggested and some of the things that they suggested for when you do get these people in the challenge groups. One thing when you're talking to these people, when you're messaging them, one of the big questions that a lot of people asked was, okay, well, they liked your page, or they liked your post, or they comment on your post, you message them, but then how do you like get over that hump or get into that, like, okay, that, do you want to buy from me? Not, don't say it like that, but do you want to join my challenge group? Like, how do you go to that? Because you don't want to feel salesy, and you don't want to feel like that's why you're talking to them, because it's not. But a really good referral approach that is not, I don't think it's like salesy or anything at all, is if you ask, before I go, would you mind telling me anyone that might be interested in a challenge group that you might know? I'm starting one soon, and I'm just trying to see if you'd know anybody that may be interested. So you're not asking them per se to join, but you are kind of asking them for a referral. So I call it the referral approach is what it was called. So if you're like kind of too scared to be like, would you like to join my challenge group? This might be a good approach for you. So it's not as like intense, or you don't get as anxious asking the question. You're asking them for referral, and a lot of times when you're asking for that referral, they'll be like, yeah, but tell me more about it, maybe I'd be interested. So 9 times out of 10, they might be interested in the way you said it is not intense at all, and they don't feel like they're attacked or pressured or anything. So that's one thing that I took away that I'm going to try to actually use more. I know it's in that's in GoPro, isn't it? One of the things, like, could you just tell me somebody interested? I think that's a GoPro technique actually too. So just to bring that up. But another thing people were talking about was, like, with challenge groups, sometimes it feels like people are dwindling off, or they're not involved. And what can you do about that? So once you get them in the challenge groups, what do? They suggested, this is one I hadn't heard before, which I did like, that I wanted to tell you guys. They suggested doing like accountability games in the group, which is like kind of make it fun. One idea one of the coaches said was to post a selfie like drinking water, and like tag a friend or whatever, and like the people that had like the most interesting or funny picture or whatever, won for that day. So like goofy but fun kind of things like that. What was the other one? It was something about just like a funny workout pose or something like that. And then another one was like the most like crazy colorful workout outfit. So those are just some examples of some accountability games that are fun, and then you tag somebody else so they have to do it, and or you can just like have them do it for, you don't have to tag anybody. Another thing they said was, when you have these challengers, how do you keep them engaged? We kind of talked about that, the activity games, and before I've talked about like in your post, just kind of plant the seed when they're in there, about maybe you drinking Shakeology, or I think I've given you guys like those like things that I have that actually have the stuff built in it, so you kind of know what I mean. Just kind of plant the seed in your posts, not selling, just what you're doing, or whatever. But so those two things are helpful. But then the actual question was, okay, like, well, when they're in the challenge group, what's a good way to possibly approach them about becoming a coach? Because they've already maybe bought the challenge pack, or it's a free group, and you want to see if they can take it further. You've noticed that they're really engaged, and you think that they'd be a really good coach, because a lot of the times if they're in the challenge groups, they're coaching people already. So this is what I've been practicing all of my groups, is to reach out to each person in your group by messaging or by email, but I think Facebook messaging is easier since you're already on Facebook, but reach out to each of them individually. Because a lot of the times you might have like quiet people in the group that are like nervous, and they don't want to post, or they, don't want to say too much. They're seeing it, but, they're not responding, or they don't want to put their selfie out, and they don't want to, take their picture, and that's fine. Like, a lot of people, some people just don't want to do that. That doesn't mean they won't be a good coach. So you can't just ever assume anything about anybody. But so one thing you can do is if you have some active people, oh man, son's down there. If you have active people, you can reach out to them with an empowering message. Okay, so you can be like, you know what, I've noticed, sorry, my son, I've noticed that you are really doing great in this group and you're empowering all these other women, and I really like your attitude. Have you ever considered doing what I'm doing? So, really empower them, let them know what a good job they're doing, make them feel great, and ask them, have you ever considered doing what I'm doing? And a lot of the times they'll be like, well, I don't know, I can't do what you do. And then, of course, you go on to explain, absolutely, you're doing it right now. So that's one good way to reach out to an active person. If there's somebody more quiet, those are the harder ones to reach because, like I said, they're not posting stuff, and you don't want to be like, oh, well, you're being so, vocal in the group and blah, blah, blah. That wouldn't be a good way to approach the more quiet people. But if they're more quiet, you still want to reach out to them and just, ask them, hey, how are you liking the group? How are you liking the Shakeology? Engage with them personally on a one-to-one basis, get to know them a little bit. And then, you could possibly be like, if you're really enjoying the Shakeology, have you ever considered, getting your Shakeology for a lesser price? Being a Beachbody coach, you can get it for 25% off. A lot of people don't know that. So that's a way to approach people that aren't as, gung-ho in the groups. Again, don't assume that they're not involved just because they're not posting. If you reach out to these people, and I found this personally, like 9 times out of 10, they're going to talk to you. They're going to converse with you. They're going to be interested in what you have to say. And they're going to really appreciate that you reach out to them and that you care what's going on with them. So those are a couple tips for the challenge groups and the referral approach to what to do when your posts are successful, when you're posting consistently. So that's all I have. The homework obviously is, if you could, I don't know if you want to take maybe like a screenshot, if you have a planner, or if you want to type in, but I would love to see your monthly post schedule. Does anybody have any questions?
I have 2 questions.
Yes.
So the sample of monthly posts, you mean by category, the same way you were talking, not like specific posts.
Right, categories. Right, yeah, exactly. So that kind of gives you like
the map. You did a training on that once before, like the map for the month or for the week.
Yes.
I have a question about traffic. So this is one thing that I always wonder about. Like you said, to check out the insights, that your highest traffic day or time would be an ideal time to post maybe a challenge grouper. So I always wonder, is my higher traffic because the post that I post seems more engaging and that's why it's getting more traffic, or is it because it's an actual day or time? I get more. I mean, I have not been consistent. I also took time off, some stuff going on, but even when I'm consistent, like I have yet to see an actual pattern. Mm-hmm. And I sometimes wonder if the most traffic is coming through because of the post, or if it's actually because, I know that they say like after lunch on Facebook is a good time. There's stuff on, when is a better time to post, just based on when people are more likely to hit their computers. So what do you think that it's accurate in terms of that's just when people are surfing Facebook, or could it possibly be because that particular post?
That's a good question. I like to research that too, because you look at your analytics and you can look at like the graph, you see. But that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
I think it's both.
Because I post every day, so I just figured that that, you know what I mean? 'Cause for me, I didn't even think about that. That's when they're seeing my posts the most. But that's a good question. I really I'd like to know that. I wonder if there's a way you can just see someone's come on your page or something. But I feel like you couldn't, because unless they like something or they're engaging at specifically, that they were there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'll get a post like, 545 people viewed this post.
Right.
And then other times, something that seems similar to me, or my intention is similar, 122 people viewed
Mhm.
it, where it's just like, and I generally, I try to post the same times
Mhm.
each day,
Right.
or, roundabout, which is after lunch, like afternoon. Because just based on some, previous, like you said, like you just try to look and see when you get the most engagement, and that it seems to me to be. And then sometimes I'll just do like a random post, if it's not Hootsuite, but just like I stumble upon something like, ooh, this is good, and I'll just post it, and then that'll like slam out 600 views. Like, I don't get that. Like, and it's just, I don't even know what time it is, and I'm just like posting it, like
Yeah.
for 4:45. It's got nothing to do with anything that I've read or studied or researched or heard in trainings or, Social Media Examiner or, anybody else.
Yeah. I mean, it might be about a lot of it about content, and
Yeah.
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 I feel like with the analytics, there's a way to like look at it and see, because I feel like I've seen webinars on it, and but like that might be a good homework for me to like go on Facebook and see if I can go back and kind of remember all that stuff.
Mhm.
That would be good, just to so everybody, if I could actually find out, if I could find that spot, like actually tell
Sweet
everybody
spot.
how to get to that specific thing too, because I feel
Right.
like there's something like that on there. Yeah, I will look.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, those were my two questions.
Any other questions? I'm telling you what.
Yeah, one question. When is that kid going to sleep?
Yeah, that's like,
That's-
I might need to go to get him. I swear, normally he goes to bed at like 8:15, 8:30. I'm like, surely he'll be out by. This is like the first night in, I don't know, 6 months. He's not been to bed by 9 o'clock. Imagine that.
That's Murphy's Law.
Just imagine, right?
Yeah.
So
Wake
anyway,
up for Powerball.
Yeah.
yeah, I know. Maybe he'll be my good luck charm, and
There you go.
win that. Whoever wins that, I'm telling you what are you gonna do with that much money? That's like, I mean, that's insane.
That's an embarrassment of riches.
That it really, I mean, Blake and I were talking, like, you can have like a lot of power with that much money.
Hence
Like
the name
that.
Powerball. There were I think 10 winners on Long Island. There was a of the jackpot is the big money, but the smaller combinations you can just win based on, on the combinations. But it was $150,000 winner, and I think there were 10 winners on Long Island altogether. 150,000, and I don't know if all of the rest of them were 50,000, but 50,000.
Really?